Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another tape in my subliminal series. Life doesn't hand out success. You don't wake up one day and find yourself at the top. No one's coming to save you. No one's giving you a free pass. If you want to be great, if you want power, respect, and wealth, you have to earn it. And the currency? Hard work. The weak look for shortcuts. They dream, they wish, they complain. But the strong put in the hours. They grind when others sleep. They push through pain, through failure, through every obstacle life throws their way. The world belongs to those who refuse to quit, to those who get up earlier, stay up later, and never stop improving. You want greatness? Sacrifice comfort. You want success? Embrace discipline. Because talent means nothing without effort. And luck is just the excuse of the lazy. Every champion, every billionaire, every leader, they all paid the price. Blood, sweat, and relentless work. So the question is, are you willing to pay it, or will you stay average watching others take what could have been yours? The choice is yours. Work or lose, fight or fade. But remember this, greatness never comes cheap. Success is not something that falls into your lap. It is not a birthright, a privilege handed down, or a lucky break that only a few get to experience. Success is earned. It is the direct result of relentless effort, discipline, and an unwavering mindset. Those who sit around waiting for an opportunity to come knocking will be waiting forever. The world does not reward wishful thinking. It rewards those who step up, take action, and refuse to accept anything less than what they deserve. The reality is harsh. Most people fail because they expect success to be easy. They think they can put in minimal effort and still get maximum rewards. But the truth is, the world doesn't work that way. If it did, everyone would be rich, powerful, and respected. The uncomfortable truth is that success is brutally selective. It chooses those who prove they are worthy, those who endure pain, rejection, and struggle without losing focus. Hard work is the only real currency in the world of success. Connections can help, talent can give you an edge, but without the relentless drive to push yourself beyond what's comfortable, you will never reach the top. There are countless stories of people who had every advantage, money, intelligence, family support, yet still failed because they lacked the work ethic. On the other hand, history is full of individuals who had nothing, who came from poverty, from broken homes, from absolute rock bottom, and still became legends because they refused to stop grinding. Most people crave comfort. They want success, but they also want to sleep in, waste time scrolling on their phones, and avoid the hard parts of the journey. They want wealth, but don't want to put in the years of sacrifice. They want respect, but aren't willing to do the work that commands it. This is why most people remain average. They settle because settling is easier than striving for greatness. The ones who succeed are different. They are willing to suffer for their dreams. They wake up earlier than everyone else. They put in hours when no one is watching, and they develop a mindset that refuses to accept failure. They understand that success is not a single event. It is the result of thousands of daily decisions. Every moment is a choice, to work or to slack off, to push forward or to make excuses. The successful make the right choice consistently. Success does not care about how you feel. It does not wait for motivation to strike. The most successful individuals operate on discipline, not emotion. There will be days when you are exhausted, days when you don't feel like working, days when everything seems stacked against you. But those who rise above those feelings, those who show up and grind even when they don't want to, those are the ones who make it. It's easy to look at someone at the top and assume they got lucky. People love to believe that wealth and power come from some external force, connections, privilege, or sheer coincidence. That way they can justify their own failure. But if you take a closer look at any truly successful person, you'll see the years of sacrifice, the struggles, the moments of doubt they had to overcome. They weren't chosen by fate, they chose themselves. They decided that failure was not an option, and they worked relentlessly until success had no choice but to reward them. Most people fear hard work. They look for shortcuts, for ways to make things easier. But greatness comes to those who embrace the struggle. The best athletes train harder than anyone else. The most successful entrepreneurs work longer hours, take bigger risks, and make more sacrifices than the average person ever would. They understand that success is a game of endurance, a test of who can withstand the most pressure without breaking. The difference between winners and losers is not intelligence, talent, or background. It is the ability to outwork everyone else, to put in more hours, to keep learning, to keep growing, even when things seem impossible. The weak make excuses, the strong make progress. The weak complain about the difficulty, the strong push through it. Success is earned by those who refuse to stop, by those who are willing to do whatever it takes. Hard work is the ultimate separator between those who succeed and those who fail. It is the defining line between the weak and the strong, the average and the elite. In a world where everyone claims they want success, very few are actually willing to do what it takes. People talk, they dream, they wish, but when it comes time to put in the hours, to push themselves beyond their limits, most fold. They take the easy way out because it's comfortable, because it's familiar, because it doesn't demand too much from them. And that's exactly why they remain weak. Strength is built through struggle. Every time you push yourself past exhaustion, past frustration, past the voice in your head telling you to quit, you separate yourself from the rest. The average person gives up when things get hard. They convince themselves that success is out of their reach, that they don't have the right circumstances, the right skills, the right opportunities. They spend more time making excuses than actually working. And that's why they will always be stuck watching others take what they could have had. The strong operate differently. They don't wait for motivation. They don't rely on feelings. They work when they don't want to, when they're tired, when no one is watching. They put in the extra hours, the extra effort, the extra commitment that most people are too weak to handle. It's not about being naturally gifted. It's about being relentless. It's about making a choice every single day to push harder than the day before. It's about refusing to accept mediocrity. Discipline is what separates the strong from the weak. The weak wait until they feel like working. They allow their emotions to dictate their actions. If they're tired, they stop. If they don't see results immediately, they quit. But the strong understand that results come to those who stay consistent. They show up no matter what. They put in the work whether they feel like it or not. They know that every hour of effort compounds over time, creating an unstoppable momentum that leads to success. Most people expect success to be easy. They think they can put in minimal effort and still achieve greatness. But the truth is, nothing worth having comes without sacrifice. The strongest, most successful individuals in history didn't get there by accident. They didn't stumble into greatness. They worked for it. They trained when no one else was trained. They studied when others were distracted. They invested in themselves while everyone else was wasting time. And because of that, they rose to the top, while the weak stayed at the bottom. The world rewards those who refuse to give up, those who keep going even when it feels impossible. The weak break under pressure. They complain, they blame others, they tell themselves that life is unfair. But the strong use every obstacle as fuel. They see setbacks as challenges to overcome, not as reasons to quit. They don't let failure define them. Instead, they use it as a lesson, a stepping stone to something greater. Every successful person has faced moments of doubt, moments where it would have been easier to walk away, But they didn't. They kept going. They kept putting in the work, even when the results weren't immediate. They trusted the process, trusted their own ability to outwork everyone else. That is the difference between winning and losing. Not talent, not luck, not intelligence, just pure, relentless effort. The weak spend their time watching others succeed. They admire, they envy, they complain about how unfair life is. They tell themselves that the people at the top had advantages that they didn't. But the truth is, they never put in the same level of effort. They never gave themselves a real chance to succeed because they were too afraid of discomfort. They chose an easy, average life over the struggle required to be great. Hard work is the price of strength. It is what builds resilience, discipline, and power. The more you push yourself, the more unstoppable you become. The moment you start to outwork everyone else, you separate yourself from the crowd. You rise above the weak, the lazy, the undisciplined. You become stronger, sharper, more capable than ever before. And once you embrace that mindset, once you commit to being the hardest worker in any room, nothing can stop you. Discipline and sacrifice are the foundation of every great success story. Without them, talent is wasted, potential is meaningless, and dreams remain nothing more than illusions. Everyone wants to be successful, but very few are willing to do what is required. They want the rewards without the struggle, the glory without the grind, the respect without the effort. And that is why most people will never reach greatness. They lack the ability to control themselves, to make the necessary sacrifices, to stay consistent when things get hard. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. It is the force that keeps you moving forward when motivation fades, when distractions tempt you, when the world gives you every excuse to quit. Weak people rely on motivation. And that is why they fail. They wake up feeling tired, so they skip the workout. They feel uninspired, so they procrastinate. They make decisions based on emotions instead of commitment, and that is why they never achieve anything significant. The strong understand that feelings don't matter. They wake up, they show up, they do the work, whether they feel like it or not. Success demands sacrifice. It demands giving up comfort, pleasure, and short-term gratification for something greater. Most people are unwilling to make those sacrifices, and that is why they stay average. They want to go out every weekend, waste hours on entertainment, sleep in when they should be working. They indulge in distractions instead of investing in themselves. The strong operate differently. They know that every moment wasted is a step further from their goals. They sacrifice sleep, social events, and instant gratification because they are committed to something bigger. They understand that every hour of discipline today leads to freedom and power tomorrow. The weak make excuses. They blame circumstances. They blame their upbringing. They blame everything except their own lack of discipline. They look at successful people and convince themselves that they had it easy, that they were lucky, that they had some advantage that made it effortless. What they fail to see is the years of sacrifice, the sleepless nights, the relentless focus that built that success. Every millionaire, every champion, every leader had to give up something to get where they are. They sacrificed comfort, time, relationships, and pleasure to build something greater. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is simple. The successful are willing to suffer. They embrace discomfort. They welcome struggle. They push through pain because they know that growth only comes through hardship. The weak run from pain. They avoid anything that makes them uncomfortable. They refuse to push beyond their limits. And because of that, they never grow. They stay in the same place year after year, watching others pass them by. Discipline is about controlling your actions, your mind, your environment. It is about eliminating distractions, cutting out toxic influences, and creating habits that drive you toward your goals. Most people lack this control. They let their surroundings dictate their future. They waste hours on entertainment, social media, mindless distractions, and then wonder why they are not successful. The strong take control. They set boundaries. They create routines. They develop habits that make success inevitable. They understand that their time and energy are the most valuable resources they have, and they refuse to waste them. Sacrifice is not a one-time thing. It is a daily decision. Every day presents a choice. Do you take the easy route, or do you stay disciplined? Do you sleep in, or do you wake up early and put in the work? Do you waste time, or do you invest in yourself? The strong make the right choice over and over again. They are not controlled by impulses or laziness. They have trained themselves to prioritize what truly matters. There is no balance in the pursuit of greatness. The weak convince themselves that they can have everything at once, that they can be comfortable and successful at the same time. But true success requires obsession. It requires cutting out anything that does not serve the mission. It requires giving up temporary pleasure for permanent achievement. The strongest individuals in history understood this. They dedicated their lives to their goals, sacrificing everything that stood in the way. And because of that, they became legends while everyone else remained forgotten. The world does not reward the undisciplined. It does not respect those who choose comfort over commitment. It belongs to those who have mastered control over themselves, who have embraced the pain of sacrifice, who have chosen to live with purpose and intensity. Those who operate with discipline, who make the right sacrifices, who refuse to let weakness dictate their actions, those are the ones who rise. Those are the ones who win. Talent is useless without effort. The world is filled with people who have potential but never do anything with it. They have the skills, the intelligence, the natural ability, but they waste it because they think talent alone is enough. They assume that because something comes easy to them, they don't need to put in the work. That is the greatest mistake anyone can make. Talent is a tool, nothing more. It is the foundation, but without effort, it remains worthless. Effort is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who fade into nothing. The weak rely on talent and expect results. They think because they are naturally good at something, success should come automatically. But when things get tough, when competition rises, when they are faced with challenges that require more than just raw ability, they collapse, and they never developed the work ethic to push through difficulty. They never built the discipline to grind when things got hard. So they quit, and all their talent goes to waste. The strong understand that effort is everything. It doesn't matter how talented you are if someone else is outworking you. It doesn't matter if you have more natural ability if someone else is putting in more hours, more energy, more commitment. Talent is common. There are millions of talented people in the world, but very few who are willing to do what it takes to turn that talent into something real. Effort is rare, and effort is what wins. Every single successful person in history got there through relentless work. There are no exceptions. The best athletes, the best entrepreneurs, the best leaders, they all had talent. But more importantly, they worked harder than everyone else. They didn't rely on their natural abilities. They sharpened them, refined them, pushed them to levels that most people would never even attempt. They knew that talent alone was never enough, so they put in the work to ensure they were always ahead. The weak make excuses. They see someone who is more talented than them and immediately give up. They convince themselves that success is only for those who are naturally gifted. But that is nothing more than a lie they tell themselves to justify their own laziness. The truth is, hard work beats talent every single time. The person who grinds every day will always surpass the person who coasts on talent. The person who stays consistent, who trains, who learns, who adapts, this is the person who wins in the end. There are thousands of stories of talented people who failed because they never put in the work. People who had everything they needed to succeed but threw it away because they got complacent. They believed their talent would carry them, and when it didn't, they didn't know what to do. And then there are those who had no natural advantage, who started with nothing, but who worked so hard that they surpassed everyone who was supposedly more gifted than them. Those are the people who make history. Those are the people who prove that effort is the only thing that truly matters. The difference between success and failure is simple. The ones who win are the ones who show up every day and put in the work. The ones who lose are the ones who rely on talent and expect results without effort. It is not about how gifted you are, how smart you are, or how much potential you have. It is about how much work you are willing to put in, how many hours you are willing to dedicate, how much sacrifice you are willing to make. Most people don't want to hear this. They want to believe that talent guarantees success. They want to believe that if they are naturally good at something, they don't need to grind. But reality doesn't work that way. There is always someone out there willing to work harder. There is always someone putting in more time, more energy, more discipline, and that person will win every single time. Effort is the ultimate equalizer. It doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter if you are naturally gifted or not. What matters is how much work you are willing to put in. What matters is how much you are willing to push yourself. What matters is whether you are willing to outwork every single person around you. The ones who are willing to do that are the ones who rise to the top while everyone else stays exactly where they are. Excuses are for the weak. They are the easy way out, the justification people use to explain their failures without taking responsibility. The moment you start making excuses, you admit defeat. You accept that you are not in control of your own life. That is why unsuccessful people are always full of excuses. They blame their circumstances, their upbringing, their environment, their lack of resources. They tell themselves stories about why they can't succeed instead of finding ways to win. The truth is, no one cares about your excuses. The world does not reward people for what they could have done, for what they almost achieved, for what they planned but never executed. The world rewards results. No one is going to feel sorry for you. No one is going to hand you success just because life has been unfair. Everyone has challenges. Everyone has obstacles. The difference between the strong and the weak is that the strong refuse to let those obstacles define them. They take ownership of their situation and find a way to win no matter what. The weak waste time complaining. They talk about how they never got lucky, how others had more advantages, how life is harder for them. They focus on everything except the one thing that actually matters, putting in the work. Complaining achieves nothing. It changes nothing. It does not bring success. It does not make you stronger. It does not move you forward. It keeps you stuck in the same place, surrounded by the same problems, living the same mediocre life. The strong do not make excuses. They do not waste time explaining why they are not where they want to be. They take full responsibility for their actions, their failures, and their future. They understand that life is not fair, that some people have more advantages than others, but they do not waste energy thinking about it. They use whatever they have and make the most of it. They take action instead of looking for reasons to quit. There is always someone who has it worse than you, but still finds a way to win. There are people who have come from nothing, from poverty, from impossible circumstances, and still built empires, still reached the top, still made a name for themselves. If they had given in to excuses, they would have stayed exactly where they started. but they refused. They understood that no one was going to save them, that no one was going to hand them success. So they took full control of their own destiny. The weak convince themselves that they need perfect conditions to succeed. They tell themselves they will start working harder when they have more money, when they have more time, when they feel more motivated. But perfect conditions do not exist. Waiting for the right time is the same as admitting that you will never do it. The strong start where they are, with what they have. They do not wait for motivation. They create it through action. They do not wait for opportunities. They build them through relentless effort. The weak spend their time looking for shortcuts, easy ways to success that do not require sacrifice. But there are no shortcuts. There is only hard work, discipline, and consistency. The ones who understand this are the ones who win. The ones who do not, the ones who waste time making excuses, are the ones who lose. It is that simple. When things get difficult, most people look for a way out. They convince themselves that success is not meant for them, that they were never going to make it anyway. They walk away before they even give themselves a real chance. The strong push through. They do not allow temporary failure to become permanent defeat. They do not allow discomfort to break them. They keep moving forward, no matter how hard it gets. Excuses are a trap. They give you temporary relief, a false sense of justification for why you are not where you want to be. But in the long run, they destroy you. They keep you from reaching your full potential. The moment you stop making excuses, the moment you take full control of your life, everything changes. The weak stay stuck in a cycle of blame and failure. The strong break free and rise to the top. Success is earned, not given. It is not something that just happens to people. It is not a result of luck, fate, or coincidence. It is the direct outcome of relentless effort, discipline, and an unbreakable mindset. The weak sit around waiting for success to come to them. They wait for the right time, the right opportunity, the perfect conditions. And while they wait, the strong are out there taking action, putting in the work, making things happen. That is why the strong win and the weak lose. Most people want success, but they do not want to earn it. They want the rewards without the struggle, the recognition without the sacrifice. They want to take the easy route, to find some secret shortcut that will get them there without pain, without effort, without years of grinding. That is why they never make it. They spend more time looking for an easy way than actually working for what they want. The truth is, there is no easy way. There is no shortcut. There is only hard work, consistency, and absolute dedication. Those who understand this are the ones who rise to the top, while everyone else stays behind. The weak believe success is about luck. They look at those who have made it and tell themselves that they were just born lucky, that they had the right connections, the right advantages, the right timing. They say these things to protect their own ego, to justify why they are still in the same place, why they have not achieved anything significant. But if success was just about luck, then why do the same people keep winning over and over again? Why do the hardest workers, the most disciplined individuals, the ones who refuse to quit, always find a way to the top? It is not luck, it is earned. The strong understand that every action, every decision, every sacrifice compounds over time. Every extra hour spent working, every setback endured, every moment of struggle builds the foundation for success. They know that nothing worth having comes easy, that every great achievement requires years of relentless effort. They embrace the grind, the struggle, the sacrifices, because they know that is what separates them from the weak. Most people quit when things get hard. They start with excitement, with motivation, but the moment things don't go their way, they fold. They give up at the first sign of resistance. They convince themselves that maybe success is not meant for them. that maybe they should settle for an easier, more comfortable life. That is why they never achieve anything great. The strong do the opposite. When things get tough, they push harder. When they fail, they try again. They refuse to stop until they get what they want. The weak are addicted to comfort. They want to relax, to enjoy, to take the easy way out. They spend their time escaping reality, distracting themselves from the fact that they are not doing what is necessary to succeed. They waste time on entertainment, social media, meaningless distractions, while the strong are outworking them, building themselves, moving forward every single day. And then they wonder why they are stuck, why others are winning, while they remain in the same place year after year. Success demands sacrifice. It demands suffering. It demands pushing past exhaustion, pushing past doubt, pushing past everything that stands in the way. The strongest individuals, the ones who dominate, who lead, who achieve, understand this better than anyone. They embrace the pain because they know it is the price of greatness. They don't avoid struggle, they seek it. They don't fear hard work, they live for it. That is why they win. The weak look for excuses. They blame their circumstances, their background, their lack of opportunities. But the truth is, everyone has a choice. No matter where you come from, no matter how hard your situation is, you always have the choice to put in the work, to stay disciplined, to refuse to quit. The strong take full responsibility for their success. They do not waste time blaming, complaining, or waiting. They take action, they stay consistent, and they never stop until they get what they want. In conclusion, success is a brutal game. It does not care about feelings, about fairness, about how hard life has been. It only rewards those who are willing to do whatever it takes, who refuse to accept anything less than victory. The ones who understand this, who commit fully, who dedicate themselves without hesitation, those are the ones who will always rise while everyone else watches from the sidelines.